In this video, I'll be talking about one Nintendo Switch game you should avoid at all costs. Now, side note, this is just my opinion. Some people may like this game, so it is just my opinion. And to be granted, if you look up reviews on this game on the internet, the reviews aren't too bad. It's getting 7 and 8s. For the Nintendo Switch, so it's not bad. It's not like the game's unplayable. It's not like the game's laggy. It's not like it's glitched up or anything like that. It is a solid game and it works, but I'm going to tell you why I personally don't like this game. Now, this game is an indie game, and this game runs around $12 and something if you want to pick this up on the Nintendo eShop. The game I'm currently talking about is Graceful Explosion Machine. If you want to see a review and some thoughts of it, I do have videos on my channel, which I will leave down in the description below. And guys, honestly, I've been doing a very good job of leaving descriptions down in the description box because I know sometimes I get lazy and I don't put links in the description box, but I've been trying to keep up with that. So I guarantee you guys there will be links down in the description below if you want to check out footage and me talk about Graceful Explosion Machine on my channel. Now, if you don't know what Graceful Explosion Machine is, Graceful Explosion Machine is a game kind of like Geometry Wars. So it is a shoot 'em up game. So it's like Geometry Wars, or it's like Gradius, or Asteroids and things like that. It is a shoot 'em up game, and granted, it's not a bad game. And the only problems I have with the game, which I wouldn't recommend it honestly, is that it is a very short game, a really short game. You can probably beat it in around 4 hours, and then depending on your skill level and how good you are at the game, you can probably beat it in less time than that. And you have 4 worlds to go with. But the problem with the game that I do not like about the game, which is why I wouldn't recommend the game, is because after you play the first world, there's not really more to experience. It's the same thing over and over and over. It gets really boring and really tedious. They don't really add too many more enemies. Once you're past like the second world, then pretty much you're doing the exact same thing with the game. And honestly, for 12 something dollars, I don't think it's really worth it. Why is it not worth it? Also, because if you look at the price of the game, the price of Graceful Explosion Machine is 12 something, which you may be thinking to yourself, well, that's not a bad price for an indie game, a game like this. That is true, it's not a bad price too much, but the problem is, if you look at other Nintendo Switch indie games that are around that price, you can get a better deal at some other games. There's even games like Mighty Gumball, I think, which is only going for $10 on the Nintendo Switch, which you can probably have more fun with. And there's even some old retro games on the Neo Geo. For instance, some of the Metal Slug games are only like $7. And I played the Metal Slug games, and let me tell you, the Metal Slug games are very hard, but they're very fun, and they're only $7. I'm sure you can have more fun with Graceful Explosion, not Graceful Explosion Machine. I'm sure you can have more fun with Metal Slug than you can have with Graceful Explosion Machine for 12 something when Metal Slug is only around 7. If you pay a couple more dollars more, you can also get Mr. Shifty. Mr. Shifty is a very good indie game, which is very fun. What I'm saying is Graceful Explosion Machine is not a bad game. It's just a game that's priced wrong in my opinion. I wish it was a little bit cheaper. Definitely wish it was under $10. I would be willing to pay $7 for this, but not 12 something, considering there's other games around that price that are better, that are indie games. First of all, it is very, very repetitive. I want to make this very clear. Very repetitive. Not a lot of content, and the content you're getting there, like I said, gets very, very repetitive. The one issue I have with this game as well, there is no bosses. I don't know what the company was thinking when they made this game. Why is there no bosses in the game? Your first instinct when you see the game is, oh yeah, there's bosses in the game, but there's no bosses in the game. And each level plays exactly the same. I didn't talk about that either. Each level plays exactly the same. What do I mean by that? Well, basically all you're doing is killing these enemies through like these waves. You have waves on each level, and all you're doing is killing wave after wave of enemies. They throw in some new enemies in worlds 2 and 3, but after that, it's the same exact thing. So honestly, I would stay away from Graceful Explosion Machine. I do know it went on sale a couple of months ago, and it was down, I think, like to like $7 or $8, something around there. So it did get a price cut, but honestly, I would not recommend this game. Coming from a person that actually does like those type of games, does like shoot 'em up games, this game I felt like I got burnt on just because of the price, and there's other games around those prices that I could definitely have a better time with. So I would stay away from Graceful Explosion Machine. Again, these are just my opinions. Again, it's not a bad game, it's not broken, it's not glitchy or anything like that. It's just a game I would stay away from on the Nintendo Switch, in my opinion. I just want to make this very clear. I kind of already talked about this on my channel, but I just want to talk about it a little more, just in case you weren't curious about what is a bad Nintendo Switch game or not really worth the price it's going for. It's going to be worth the price, like I said, if you can get it under $10. If you can get it for around $7, then yeah, go ahead and blow your $7. Even $12 is not expensive, just because other games around that price are probably you're gonna get more for about the same money you paid for Graceful Explosion Machine. After you beat Graceful Explosion Machine, I'm pretty sure you're not gonna want to go back to Graceful Explosion Machine. In my experiences with Graceful Explosion Machine, honestly, I did not actually end up finishing the game. It was just way too boring in my experience, so I stopped playing Graceful Explosion Machine. I stopped playing around World 3, so I never actually beat the game, but it's more of the same. I just wish they would have added more content, more enemies, given us bosses. If they would have updated the game, then yeah, I might have said it's worth it, but at this very moment, at the current state, it's not worth it. Anyway, guys, that's one Nintendo Switch game I highly suggest you stay away from. Anyway, guys, peace out. I'll see you guys later in my next video. I'm out, guys.